My fiancé went to shower, then his laptop screen lit up with a message from his study buddy. I clicked the chat and discovered their weekend getaway plans. That night, I booked a room at the same resort and walked in with his best friend's fiancé on my arm. I never imagined I'd be sharing my story here, but I need to get this off my chest. I'm Olivia, 34, living in Chicago. For the past 3 years, I've been engaged to Daniel, 36. We met at a charity event downtown, and our connection was instant. Daniel's charm and intelligence drew me in, and soon we were inseparable. After a year of dating, we moved in together, and I truly believed we were building a future based on trust and love. Daniel works as a software engineer for a tech company in the Loop. His job demands long hours, and he often brings work home. He has this old laptop covered in stickers from various tech conferences and hackathons. I never paid much attention to it. I trusted him and respected his space. One Friday evening, after a particularly exhausting week at my marketing firm, I came home to an unexpected surprise: Daniel cooking dinner. The aroma of garlic and herbs filled our apartment, and I felt a surge of gratitude. "Hey, babe," he greeted with a smile. "Thought I'd whip up something special tonight." We sat down to a delicious meal, shared a bottle of red wine, and talked about our plans for the weekend. "I have some work to catch up on tomorrow," Daniel said, twirling his pasta. "But let's do brunch on Sunday, maybe at that new cafe you mentioned?" I nodded, appreciating the balance between his work commitments and our time together. After dinner, Daniel stretched and yawned. "I'm going to take a quick shower to wash off the week," he said, heading towards the bathroom. He left his laptop open on the coffee table, the screen dimmed but not locked. As I was clearing the dishes, a notification popped up on his screen. Glancing over, I saw a message from someone named Samantha, with a heart emoji next to her name. The message read, "Can't wait for our weekend getaway. Everything's set for tomorrow. Love you." My heart stopped. Samantha? Weekend getaway? Love you? A cold wave of nausea washed over me. My hands trembled as I clicked on the chat window, revealing a thread of messages that painted a clear picture of their affair. They had been seeing each other for months, and this weekend, they planned to stay at the Abbey Resort in Lake Geneva, Wisconsin. I sat there, paralyzed, as the sound of the shower echoed from the bathroom. Tears blurred my vision, but amidst the heartbreak, a surge of determination took hold. I wasn't going to let this slide. I needed a plan. I remembered that Daniel's best friend, Mark, was engaged to Rachel. Rachel and I had become friends over the years, bonding over wedding planning and double dates. I had a hunch that if Daniel was capable of this betrayal, Mark might be too. I decided to call Rachel. "Hey, Olivia. What's up?" Rachel's cheerful voice answered. "Rachel, I need to talk to you about something important. Can we meet up?" I asked, trying to keep my voice steady. We agreed to meet at a nearby cafe. When I arrived, Rachel was already there, sipping on a latte. I took a deep breath and told her everything. Rachel's face went pale. "Olivia, I don't know how to tell you this, but I've had suspicions about Mark. He's been distant, and there have been late nights at work that don't add up." We sat in silence for a moment, absorbing the painful reality. Then, an idea formed. "Rachel, what if we confronted them together? Show up at the resort and catch them in the act?" I proposed. She nodded slowly. "They need to be held accountable. Let's do it." That night, we booked a room at the Abbey Resort under Rachel's name. The next morning, we packed our bags and drove to Lake Geneva. The drive was a blur of emotions: anger, sadness, anxiety. The journey took about an hour and a half, but it felt like an eternity. Upon arrival, we checked in and devised a plan. We would wait until evening, then approach their room together. The hours crawled by as we waited, each minute amplifying our anticipation. Finally, as the sun set, we made our move. We walked down the hallway to room 214, Daniel's booking, as per the messages. With a deep breath, I knocked on the door. The door opened, and there stood Daniel, shirtless, with a look of shock that quickly morphed into panic. "Olivia? What are you doing here?" he stammered. Before I could respond, Samantha appeared behind him, wrapped in a towel. Her eyes widened in horror. Rachel stepped forward. Is Mark here too? Daniel's face went blank. No. Mark's not here. Rachel and I exchanged glances. It seemed our hunch about Mark was wrong, but the betrayal we faced was evident. I turned to Daniel. I saw the messages, Daniel. I know everything. How could you? He opened his mouth to speak, but no words came out. He just stood there, mouth open, stammering like he'd swallowed a bug. Samantha pulled the towel tighter around her chest and backed up a few steps like she'd seen a ghost. I didn't blink. I wasn't there to cry or scream. I had already done that part in my head 100 times on the drive over. I wanted answers. I wanted the truth, or at least to see if either of them had the guts to say it. Rachel crossed her arms and stared hard at Samantha. You knew he was engaged, didn't you? Samantha glanced at Daniel, then back at us. He told me you two were basically over, she said, voice shaking. That you were staying together just for the lease. Really? I shot Daniel a look so sharp it could cut glass. That's what you told her? That I was just a roommate you used to screw. Daniel looked at the floor. It wasn't like that. I just didn't know how to tell you. Things got complicated. No, I snapped. Things got secretive. You lied. For months. Rachel stepped forward. So what about Mark? You swear he's not involved in this? Because if I find out you're covering for him, I haven't seen Mark in weeks, Daniel muttered. Not since his bachelor party. There was a pause. Rachel's brow furrowed. That was 2 weeks ago. I thought he said you two hung out just last weekend. Daniel's head jerked up. No, I haven't seen him since the party. Rachel's jaw tightened. Interesting. Because he told me he stayed the night at your place last Saturday. You even played Call of Duty or whatever. Daniel blinked. That never happened. I saw the color drain from Rachel's face. Slowly, like the blood knew something she didn't yet. Wait, she said. If he wasn't with you, then where was he? Daniel's mouth opened, then closed again. He genuinely didn't know. And that made it worse. Rachel took out her phone, tapped furiously, and brought up an old photo from Instagram. Look, she said, showing it to me. It was a group photo, Daniel, Mark, and a few other guys at a bar. A caption, bro time before I lose him to marriage, LOL. Scroll right, she said. The next photo showed something I didn't expect. It was a selfie of Samantha. Same bar. Same night. Same background. Wait, I said slowly, staring at her profile. That was 2 weeks ago? Rachel nodded. Yeah. Samantha bit her lip. Okay, I was there. But I didn't know Mark was your fiancé. No, but you knew Daniel was mine, I said coldly. You were already sleeping with him then. Her silence confirmed everything. Daniel sighed and rubbed his face. This isn't helping anyone. No, I said. But it's exposing a lot. Rachel was shaking her head slowly, like she couldn't believe any of this was real. I need to call Mark. I need answers. Wait, I said quickly. Let's do it together. Put it on speaker. She hesitated, then nodded. We all stood there, Daniel still half naked, Samantha awkwardly wrapped in a towel, Rachel trembling, and me holding my breath as she called him. He picked up on the second ring. Hey, babe. Mark. Where were you last Saturday night? Rachel's voice was flat. With Daniel. Why? She turned the phone to speaker. You weren't with me, Daniel said. Silence. Mark? Rachel asked, her voice shaking. Okay. I can explain, he started. No. Don't explain, Rachel snapped. Just tell me the truth. Were you with someone else? More silence. Then he said quietly, yeah. Rachel looked like someone had hit her in the stomach. She hung up without another word. And then, to top it all off, Samantha suddenly started crying. Hard, gasping sobs. I didn't know. I didn't know about all this. I thought he loved me. Rachel and I looked at each other. Same thought. Same realization. This wasn't just one betrayal. It was a chain of lies. Tangled and spreading like fire through dry leaves. Rachel exhaled sharply and looked at me. We came here to expose them. But now we know it's deeper, I said. They weren't just cheating on us. They were helping each other hide it. Rachel stepped forward again and looked at Daniel. Was this a game to you? Did you two sit around and joke about us while you planned your little getaways? Daniel didn't answer. And that silence was louder than any apology. But this wasn't over. Not yet. And I had one more move left to play. Daniel finally spoke, his voice low. It wasn't like that. We didn't plan to hurt you. Rachel gave a bitter laugh. You didn't plan it? What? It just happened. The secret texts? The hotel bookings? The lies? The cover-ups? Samantha was still sobbing in the corner, pulling tissues from the nightstand like it was going to erase anything. I stared at Daniel. You know what's worse than cheating, Daniel? Making me feel crazy for months. Making me second-guess myself every time I noticed something off. He opened his mouth, probably to say some sorry-ass excuse, but I didn't let him. When you came home smelling like cologne I don't wear. When you had receipts for dinners you never mentioned. I asked you. You lied to my face. Rachel was pacing now. I need to get out of here. I'm gonna be sick. She turned toward the door, but stopped cold when it swung open. A guy stepped in, holding a room key, paused when he saw all of us inside. Mark. Rachel froze. I swear the room turned colder. Mark. Her voice was barely a whisper. He looked from her to Samantha, towel still clutched around her chest, to Daniel, still half-dressed, and back to Rachel. What the hell is going on? Rachel's mouth opened, then shut. That's what I was going to ask you. Mark didn't say anything right away. He stepped into the room slowly, like he was hoping none of this was real. I just came to meet Daniel. Bullshit, Daniel muttered. Mark's eyes widened. What? I didn't invite you here. I didn't even know you were coming. What are you doing here, man? Mark glanced at Samantha, then at Rachel. And that's when I noticed something weird. Samantha had stopped crying. She wasn't even looking at Daniel anymore. She was staring at Mark. My stomach twisted. Oh my God, I said slowly, looking between them. No. No way. You, Rachel blinked. Wait. What? Mark rubbed the back of his neck. It's not what you think. You're sleeping with her too? Rachel shouted. Samantha whispered. It was a mistake. Daniel turned on Mark. You told me you had nothing to do with her. Mark finally snapped. You were cheating on her too. Don't act righteous now. Rachel had her hand over her mouth. This is sick. I backed up, hands to my temples. Let me get this straight. Samantha was seeing both of you? At the same time, Samantha's silence was answer enough. Mark sat down on the edge of the bed, suddenly exhausted. It was supposed to stop. She said it was over with you, Dan. And then she said Rachel and I weren't going to work out anyway. Samantha whispered, I didn't mean to hurt anyone. Oh, shut up, Rachel snapped. You knew exactly what you were doing. You just didn't think you'd get caught. Daniel was glaring at Mark now, his fists clenched. You were supposed to be my best friend. You were screwing his fiancé, I said flatly. What did you expect? The room was quiet, thick with the weight of so many lies. Then Daniel said something that made everything worse. She's not the only one. Everyone turned. What? I said. He looked right at me. Samantha wasn't the only one. There was someone else. Just once. It didn't mean anything. My legs almost gave out. Who? I asked. Who else? He looked away. Does it matter? Rachel threw her arms up. Oh my God. This just keeps getting better. Mark suddenly laughed, short, ugly. We're a damn soap opera. Rachel stepped toward Samantha. You lied to all of us. Played us like toys. Are you proud of yourself? Samantha looked genuinely panicked now. I didn't plan this. I was confused. You were selfish, I said. That's what you were. Everyone was spinning. I was drowning in shock. But deep down, something in me started to harden. A piece of myself, the one that used to love Daniel unconditionally, was dying right there in that hotel room. And what was left? I didn't know yet. But I was going to find out. Because I wasn't done. Not even close. The room felt like it had no air left. Mark sat hunched on the edge of the bed, Daniel standing tense in the corner like he was ready to explode. Samantha hovered near the dresser, pulling at the towel like it was going to shield her from everything unraveling. Rachel and I stood side by side. Our pain and fury sharp enough to cut glass. I can't even look at you, Rachel muttered, staring at Mark. I can't believe I said yes to spending my life with someone like you. Mark didn't answer. His eyes were on the floor, jaw clenched, trying to stop himself from breaking down. But it was too late for pride. Samantha broke the silence. I didn't want this to happen. Stop, I snapped. Just stop. You didn't fall into bed with two men by accident. You weren't confused. You were selfish. You wanted attention. And you got it from both of them. Daniel finally spoke. This is out of control. Everyone needs to calm down. Don't you dare, I said, turning to him. You don't get to play peacekeeper after what you've done. You lied to me. You cheated. And then you lied again. And even now you're still lying, keeping secrets, dropping more names like they don't matter. Rachel added, I wonder how many more women you've both hidden. How many more surprises we'd find if we dug just a little deeper. Mark finally stood up, his voice low. I messed up. We all did. No, I said. Rachel and I didn't mess up. We trusted you. We believed in you. We showed up, we built something real, only for it to be shattered like this. That's when the door behind us opened again. A resort employee stood there, clearly caught in the chaos. We've had some complaints about noise? Rachel turned around, dead calm. We'll be done soon. The poor guy just nodded and walked away quickly, muttering something about security. That tiny interruption was like a crack in the chaos. Everyone went quiet again. Then Rachel said, You know what? I want to do this my way. She reached into her purse and pulled out the little velvet box she'd been carrying for weeks. Her engagement ring. She turned to Mark. I was going to surprise you with a date for the wedding this weekend. Thought maybe we'd take engagement photos while we were out here. Thought maybe it would fix the weird distance between us. She opened the box and looked at the ring like it was a stranger. Then she closed it and threw it hard. It hit the floor with a sharp clink. Mark didn't move. She turned to me. Olivia, I don't know what you want to do. But I'm done. I've cried enough over this man. Samantha whispered something, but no one heard. And honestly, no one cared anymore. Daniel was watching me now, eyes red. I never stopped loving you. I almost laughed. Love. I said. You threw that word around like spare change. You say it now because you're caught. But where was that love when you were booking hotel rooms and making Samantha feel like she was the center of your world? I was lost, no. You were comfortable. You didn't think I'd ever find out. You liked having me at home, stable, steady. And her? She was your escape. Your ego trip. He looked like he was about to cry. And for a second, I felt something twist in me. Pity? Anger? Leftover love? Rachel grabbed her bag and stepped toward the door. I'm going to pack my things. Olivia, if you want to ride back to Chicago, let's leave tonight. I nodded. Just give me 5 minutes. She didn't wait. She left, her head high. Now it was just me, Daniel, Mark, and Samantha. I looked at Mark. You broke more than Rachel's heart today. You wrecked your own life. Hope it was worth it. He didn't reply. I turned to Samantha. And you. I really hope one day you feel the weight of what you did. Because right now, all I see is someone who got caught and hates how it feels, not what she did. Samantha opened her mouth, then stopped. She knew. And Daniel, he looked wrecked. Truly. But I couldn't feel sorry for him anymore. Goodbye, Daniel. I left. The car ride back to Chicago was quiet. Rachel didn't cry. I didn't either. We were beyond that now. I almost moved my stuff into his place last week, she said after a while. I was so sure we were forever. Same, I whispered. I was planning to show him venues for the wedding next month. Thought maybe we'd set a date. We both laughed. Not the happy kind. The exhausted, bitter kind that comes after too many lies. When we got to my apartment, I turned to her. "You can stay with me tonight." She nodded, and for once, I was grateful for the mess. At least I wasn't in it alone. A week later, Daniel tried to call. I didn't pick up. He sent flowers. I threw them out. He emailed. I deleted it. Rachel blocked Mark on everything. I took time off work. Cried some nights. Slept in. Drank too much wine. Then slowly, I started waking up with less ache in my chest. People say betrayal changes you. They're right. It makes you colder, sharper. But it also makes you more awake. You notice things you used to ignore. You listen to the silence when something doesn't add up. I don't know if I'll ever trust someone like I did with Daniel. I don't know if Rachel will ever say yes again to anyone. But we're still standing. That's something. We were loyal. We were honest. And that's nothing to be ashamed of. As for them, they have to live with the truth now. With each other. With themselves. And me? I'm moving on. Not healed. But no longer broken. I guess that's enough for now.